Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Peru 24/7, your trusted source for all the major news. Tonight, we bring you an incident that has shaken the very core of our Peru. Just 2 weeks ago, a tragedy occurred, one that took 5 lives and left everyone in shock. The bridge of San Luis Rey, a key landmark connecting communities, collapsed in just moments. Was this a tragedy of fate or disaster caused by years of neglect and corruption? This was the moment that changed everything. 5 lives lost in an instant. The public reaction on social media is clear. The people want answers and they want them now. To help us understand what happened, we have with us Brother Juniper, who has spent days and nights investigating the life of those who died, hoping to find out if their deaths were a part of bigger plan or if human failure played a role.
Thank you for having me. This tragedy has left a deep scar on all of us. I have been investigating the collapse of the bridge for the past 2 weeks, but my work is still ongoing. My primary focus has been to understand whether the disaster was an accident or a sign from the higher power.
That is certainly the question to ask. You have been examining the lives of the 5 victims. Have you found any divine connections or signs that suggest their death might have been predestined?
Yes, I've been exploring their lives and circumstances leading up to the disaster. Initially, I thought that there was a divine reason behind their deaths, perhaps a sign from God Himself. As I looked further, I'm starting to think these events might be a form of divine message or judgment. The signs are not clear-cut, and I'm still trying to understand what they mean.
That is right. So, what is your initial conclusion from the investigation so far?
It's hard to say definitely. The more I examine the situation, the more I am confronted with the idea that there might be a deeper spiritual reason behind these events. However, I'm still in the process of unraveling the full meaning and implications of these signs.
Thank you, Brother Juniper, for your thoughts. He believes the collapse might have been a divine intervention. Now we have with us Shiva Reddy, the civil engineer.
Thank you for inviting me.
What are your thoughts on this incident?
I don't think so. It was a fate or chance. The bridge was not in good condition. There were quite a number of cracks. Some ropes were cut while others worn out due to prolonged use. And most of the Vosire windows were weak and broken as the time passed. This was not God's plan. It was pure neglect.
So who's responsible for that neglect?
The local authority and the king. They knew the bridge was dangerous and they had plenty of time to fix, but they did nothing.
Thank you, Engineer Shiva. As we can see, the public outrage is growing and the blame is clearly falling on those in power. Now, here we have our social activist Harsh with us. Harsh, what do you have to say on this?
This is not just a sad event, it's a crime against the people. The king and his helpers were supposed to keep us safe, but they ignored the warnings about the bridge. They let it break while they enjoyed all the luxuries in his palace. Now because they did nothing, innocent people are dead and families are hurt. We can't let this happen. We must hold the king and government responsible. Now is our chance to shout for justice. If we don't, it means those lives didn't matter. We need to fight for change so it does not happen again.
Thanks, Harsh. The voice for justice is strong and many people are ready to take it to the streets. Now we go live to our ground reporter, Pranav, at the side of the bridge. Pranav, what can you tell us?
Thank you, Parth. I'm here at the site of the bridge collapse, and it's heartbreaking to see the damage. The bridge was once a beautiful place where families gathered, but now it lies in ruins. I can see the debris scattered everywhere, and rescue workers are still searching for answers. Many people are in shock, trying to understand how this could happen. It's clear that the community is in pain, and the anger towards the authorities is growing. We will keep you updated as we learn more. With me now are some local villagers who knew the victims of this terrible tragedy. Thank you for joining us today. You shared with us how the collapse has impacted your life.
It's been so hard. My friend Pepita was on that bridge. We grew up together in the orphanage. She was such a kind soul, always helping others. I still don't believe she's gone. I was just talking to her a month before and now everything is shattered and we are feeling so lost. It feels like a piece of our community has been taken away. We trusted the king man to protect us, but look where we are now. This should never have happened.
My neighbor Uncle Pio was crossing that bridge on that day. He was like family to me. He was so excited about Jamie's future and now he's just gone. This whole town is heartbroken. The king ignored the dangers of that bridge for so long and because of that we lost the people we love. It's hard to find peace when the ones in the church failed us so badly.
Thank you for sharing your feelings. Captain Alvarado, I understand you also knew one of the victims.
Yes, Esteban. He was a good man, and we had just spoken about his brother. He was trying to find some peace after all the hardship he had been through. It's a tragic that he died this way, in a disaster that could have been prevented. We all saw how bad the bridge had become, but nothing was done. Esteban's death weighs heavily on me. He deserved better protection, better care from those in power. Now he's gone, and it's a loss we can never undo.
Thank you all for sharing your thoughts. It's clear how deeply this tragedy has touched everyone here. Our thoughts are with Pepita's, Uncle Pio's, and Esteban families, and with everyone else grieving right now.
Thank you, Pranav. As we have just heard from those who knew the victims, this tragedy has shaken the entire community. But beyond the emotional toll, many are searching for the deeper answers. We have heard different perspectives on the tragedy, but now let's bring in Father Pramod for a spiritual take. Father, what do you make of this event?
Thank you, Parth. Events like these make us question if there is a higher meaning. While some may see it as a divine intervention or punishment, I believe it's also a reminder of our responsibilities. The collapse wasn't just fate, it reflects the choices we have made, our neglect of both bridge and the people.
So, is there a lesson for us all in this?
Yes, absolutely. Whether through faith or action, we must do better. This tragedy is a wake-up call for everyone. It's time to be more accountable and take care of our community before another disaster strikes.
I never imagined it would come to this. A bridge that should have connected my people has now torn them apart. The cries of the villagers, the anger in their voices, I failed them. How could I have let this happen? Years of neglect, warnings left unheard. It's my responsibility. Their lives were in my hands, and now they are gone. I can't let this stand. Minister, record a statement for me to address the people of Peru. It's time to make things right.
As you say, Your Majesty.
To the people of Peru, I have heard your pain, your anger, and your grief. What happened on the bridge of San Miguel was a tragedy. And for that, I take full responsibility. We failed to maintain a vital part of our infrastructure, and because of that, lives were lost. But this is not the end. I promise you that we will rebuild, not just the bridge, but the trust that has been broken. Immediate plans are being put in place to inspect and repair all public infrastructures to prevent anything like this from ever happening again. We will work with engineers, community leaders, and people themselves to ensure your safety. I know this won't ease the loss, but it is my pledge to you to make things right.
The debate did not just talk about the past, it helped shape the future. The voices of the people and the truth shared on this news channel reached the king and his leaders. This discussion became a bridge, connecting the people's pain to real action. What started as a tragedy now stands as a step towards making Lima safer and better for everyone.
There were quite a number of cracks. Some ropes were cut by
Jashan,